when your inner voice isn't kind, and how to interrupt negative self talk without shame. What if the voice inside of our head isn't our intuition, but an old survival strategy that never learned how to rest? And what if the way that we speak to ourselves isn't motivation, but protection that's overstayed its welcome? It's long overstayed its welcome. It's time for it to go. And what if learning to interrupt negative self talk isn't about silencing that voice, but understanding it and giving it grace? Let's get into it. Hey, y'all, I'm Madison Samone Chase, also known as Miss Chase. And I was raised by an incredible single mom who is my biggest fan and my BFF, my best friend forever, for real. I'm also a celebrity certified personal trainer, fitness and wellness expert, and sports and entertainment media host. I was born in Fort Worth, Texas, raised in Dallas, but built in Los Angeles. I trained at Juilliard with School of American Ballet, becoming the world's only three-time ESPN Miss Fitness champion, appearing in more than 450 fitness DVDs. And the first of the 450 was led by a celebrity trainer and the GOAT, Gunnar Peterson, who's known for training the Kardashian family. As a celebrity trainer, some of my most notable clients include Robert Pattinson of Twilight and Batman, Chris Tucker of Rush Hour, Amber Riley of Glee. As a sports and entertainment media host, some of my favorite red carpet moments include chatting with Richard Branson, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, Emma Stone, Viola Davis, Tyler Perry, Tiana Taylor, Justin Baldoni, Issa Rae, to name a few. I share my accomplishments to honor the millions of sacrifices my mom planted so that I could blossom and flourish and grow into the woman I'm still becoming. So if you're listening and or watching, pull up a digital chair, grab yourself a cup of hot or cold herbal tea, and welcome to my cozy home of Cut to the Chase at 8, a 15-minute micro-learning moment for macro living. And I am so overjoyed that you are here, because this is where we explore and lean into life with our lived experiences, yours and mine, where we invite lots of grace into this space. Lots of grace into the space, because we're living in some interesting times. We chat all about spirit, mind, and body health that is ultimately our wealth in micro doses for macro living. Make sure you join me twice daily for just 15 minutes. It's just 15 minutes at 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, because this is your 15-minute chance for your daily pause for a cause, for clarity, wellness, grace, and intentional decision making. Giving yourself grace, because how we start our day and how we end it matters. Each episode, my offer to you is 3 keys and 1 question to sit with, and hopefully encouraging you to give yourself grace in this space with something practical, something grounded, and something you could carry with you. So wherever you're listening from, turn it up and tune in. And if anything you hear today pricks your heart or lights a spark, I'd love for you to subscribe and share it with someone you care about. And please leave a 5-star rating. Now let's take a breath together. Inhale. 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So let's lean into today's episode of Cut to the Chase at 8. Let's cut the noise, let's get clear, and let's get ready, set, grow, and go. And let's continue and be great in this episode. So let's settle in. Wherever you're listening from right now, if you're driving, walking, resting, or just pausing, let's allow this moment to be a soft place for us to land, because today we are chatting about something most of us experience quietly, internally, and often alone. Continuation of the previous episode, negative self-talk. And here's our opening today's question. What if the way we speak to ourselves is shaping our nervous system more than we realize? Again, what if the way that we speak to ourselves, and even sometimes how we treat ourselves, is shaping our nervous system more than we realize? Which brings me to key number 1. Negative self-talk is often a survival voice. Negative self-talk didn't usually start as cruelty. It started as protection. A voice that learned, if I stay on myself, maybe I won't mess up. If I try to be perfect, maybe I won't mess up. If I expect disappointment, maybe it won't hurt so much. If I criticize myself first, no one else can. That voice formed in moments where safety, affirmation, or stability felt uncertain. So when it shows up, it doesn't mean something is wrong with us or you or me. It means something worked once and it never got updated, kind of like our phones or our computers. And sometimes we just got to turn it off. I just literally had to do that in this moment. I had to turn off my phone to restart it. And that voice is familiar, and familiarity does not equal truth. Which brings me to key number 2. Interruption is not erasure. We don't heal by fighting our inner voice. We heal by interrupting it. An interruption sounds like, this thought feels loud, but not factual. This is a pattern, not a prophecy. That right there. It's not a prophecy. And sometimes we allow people to speak things over us that's also not true. So I don't need to make decisions while I'm activated. We're not silencing ourselves. We're creating space between the thought, the body response, and the truth. And that space is where clarity lives. Which brings me to key number 3. Kindness is a regulating practice and a process. Because how we speak to ourselves either escalates the nervous system, heals the nervous system, or harms the nervous system, or it settles it. Harsh, harmful inner language tightens the body. Kind inner language softens it. Healing inner language softens it. Kindness isn't weakness, it's leadership. And self-kindness says, I could be honest without being cruel to myself, because the world and sometimes our PPTs, our people, places, and things will do that. So why would we do that to ourselves? I can be aware without being ashamed. I can correct without condemning. That's emotional maturity. So if we're bringing this all together, let's bring it all together. The voice in our head, it isn't the enemy. And sometimes it is the enemy. But it isn't the authority either. We get to listen without obeying, notice without believing, and lead ourselves with clarity instead of criticism. So the question to reflect on today. When negative self-talk shows up, what might it be trying to protect us from? And what it might sound like to respond with steadiness instead of shame? That is the question. When negative self-talk shows up, what might it be trying to protect us from? And sometimes we could try to protect ourselves from things that we have gotten in this pattern of doing and or believing. And then what does it sound like to respond to it with steadiness and kindness instead of shame? And sometimes treating ourselves like the little girl or the little boy. Like there are certain things that you would tell your 5-year-old self that you wouldn't tell your adult self. So treating yourself and being kind to yourself, as kind as you would be to the little boy or the little girl, your nephew or your niece or your daughter or your younger daughter. And when I say young, like you would have a different conversation with a 3-year-old than you would with the 30-year-old. But treat yourself like the 3-year-old, because that is the kind of kindness and softness and sometimes truth that we need for ourselves. And then what does that sound like? And that's what I invite you to do. Treat yourself like your younger version. What would you tell your younger 3-year-old self, your kinder self, right? Your younger self. You would be kind to your younger self. So before you go, I just want to say thank you from the bottom and top of my heart, because it has truly been an honor and a pleasure sharing this time with you. And thank you for continuing to give yourself grace in this space with me today. And I am so genuinely thankful you chose to step into this cozy digital home with me. So before you head out, let's quickly revisit our three keys and one question from today's episode. Negative self talk is often a survival voice, and it's not always the truth. Most of the time, it's not true. Which brings me to key number two. Interruption creates space without erasure. You could interrupt it with kindness in talking to your 3-year-old younger self. Which brings me to key number three. Kindness is a regulating practice and a form of leadership. And our reflection question for today: what negative self talk shows up, and what might be protecting or trying to protect you from? And how can you respond with steadiness instead of shame? So, again, when negative self talk shows up for you, what is your body, your physical body, your emotional body, your spirit, mind, and body? It might be trying to protect you. But then instead of showing up in fear, how can you show up in faith and respond with steadiness and kindness, like you're talking to your 3-year-old younger self? And that hopefully removes shame. So if today's episode offered you clarity, insight, or even pause for a cause you didn't know you needed, and if anything I've shared pricked your heart or lit a spark, I'd love for you to subscribe, share this with someone you care about, and or leave a 5-star rating, because it helps this space grow and reach others. And if this podcast has been meaningful to you, I invite you to consider becoming a Cut to the Chasers Circle founding member. And this is a community rooted in intention, clarity, and kindness, and putting feet to your faith, and daily micro practices for macro living. So thank you for joining me here twice a day for our daily 15-minute micro dose for macro living. Now let's close with one breath together. Inhale, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'll see you tomorrow at 8 a.m. and again at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is Cut to the Chase at 8 with me, Madison Samone Chase. Start and end your day with intention and grace. It's Cut to the Chase at 8. Ready, set, grow, and go. And let's go. And let's get clear. And let's be great. Blessings to you and yours. Until tomorrow.